If we consider verbal communication to be the real-time operating system of a business, then written communication is its enduring architecture. Verbal exchanges are fluid and immediate, facilitating dynamic interactions that drive daily operations. They are the software that runs the machine. However, these interactions are transient, existing only in memories. Written communication provides the foundational structure upon which the entire enterprise is built. It is the carefully designed blueprint that gives the organization its form, stability, and permanence. A strategic plan serves as the foundation stone, defining purpose and direction. Policy documents act as load-bearing walls, providing rules and support systems. Without this written architecture, a business would be chaotic and formless, reliant on fragile human memory. A poorly drafted document is like a flawed blueprint. It leads to misinterpretations, structural weaknesses, and costly errors. Confusing memos cause widespread inefficiency as employees struggle to understand instructions. In contrast, well-crafted documents are like masterful plans. They provide absolute clarity, drive precise execution, and strengthen enterprise integrity. A critical function of this written architecture is the conversion of tacit knowledge into explicit, accessible assets. This is the intuitive, experience-based knowledge that resides in the minds of individual employees. It cannot be easily scaled or transferred, and it is lost the moment the individual leaves the organization. A detailed process manual can capture the efficient workflow developed by a veteran employee, allowing new hires to replicate their success. Ultimately, the codification of knowledge through writing democratizes expertise and empowers the entire workforce. In today's increasingly globalized and distributed work environment, the mastery of written communication has become more critical than ever. Written communication is the primary engine that powers this asynchronous model. It is the tool that allows collaboration to transcend the constraints of time and space. Precision, clarity, and thoroughness in writing are therefore not just desirable but essential for a distributed team's success. Beyond its role in knowledge preservation and collaboration, written communication serves a crucial function in establishing formal accountability. This permanent ledger is indispensable for risk management and governance. The mastery of written communication has transitioned from a valuable skill to a core managerial competency. A single, well-written document can align an entire organization, secure millions of pounds in funding, or guide a company through a critical transition. The clarity of your writing is a direct reflection of the clarity of your thinking. A manager who can articulate complex ideas with precision and force is perceived as more competent, strategic, and trustworthy. To achieve unwavering clarity, all business writing must be supported by 4 fundamental pillars: brevity, simplicity, precision, and coherence. A document that is verbose, complicated, vague, or disjointed is likely to be skimmed, misunderstood, or ignored altogether. The first pillar of clarity, brevity, is rooted in a deep respect for the reader's most valuable and non-renewable resource, their time. For instance, instead of writing "At this point in time, we are in the process of conducting a review of the data," a brief writer would simply state, "We are now reviewing the data." Secondly, brevity often makes your message more powerful and memorable. Stripping away the excess verbiage forces the key points to stand out. The second pillar, simplicity, is the natural partner of brevity. Simplicity means choosing the clear and familiar word over the obscure one. For example, instead of writing, "The implementation of the new system will be the responsibility of the IT department," write, "The IT department will implement the new system." A truly confident and intelligent writer has the ability to explain a complex topic in simple terms. Simple language is a sign of mastery, not of a simple mind. The third pillar of clarity is precision. If brevity and simplicity ensure your message is concise and easy to read, precision ensures it is impossible to misunderstand. Consider the difference between "we need to improve sales soon" and "we need to increase sales by 15% in the next quarter." Avoid weasel words and qualifiers like might, perhaps, fairly, or some. These words create uncertainty and weaken your message. The fourth and final pillar, coherence, is the principle that binds all the others together. It is the logical and grammatical glue that connects sentences, paragraphs, and sections into a seamless narrative. This is achieved through the use of transitional words and phrases, such as therefore, however, in addition, or as a result, that signal the relationship between ideas. The structure of a written document is, well, its skeleton. This structure operates on two distinct but interconnected levels: the macro structure and the microstructure. The macro structure is the overall architectural plan of the entire document. The microstructure, on the other hand, deals with the bricks and mortar of your writing. It is the construction of individual paragraphs and sentences. The deductive or direct approach is the most common and preferred structure in modern business writing. You state your most important message first, and then follow it with the supporting evidence. In contrast, the inductive or indirect approach follows a bottom-up logic. It begins by presenting the evidence, reasoning, and context first, before revealing the main conclusion. This structure is used in more sensitive situations where the reader might be resistant, hostile, or surprised by your main message. Most effective business documents can be organized using a classic and versatile three-part architecture: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. The introduction has one primary job: to orient the reader. A strong introduction must quickly and clearly answer three questions. What is this document about? Why am I receiving it? And what are the key points you will cover? The body is the substantive core of the document. This is where you develop and support the main message stated in your introduction. Finally, the conclusion provides closure and a clear path forward. Most importantly, it must articulate a specific and clear call to action. The anatomy of a strong paragraph almost always begins with a clear topic sentence. The rest of the sentences in the paragraph must then work to support, explain, or provide evidence for this specific claim. The first principle is to have a strong preference for the active voice over the passive voice. The active voice is more direct, more concise, and more powerful. The second principle is to use parallel structure. This creates a pleasing rhythm and makes the sentence easier to process. Finally, effective writers vary their sentence length to maintain reader engagement. Formatting is not mere decoration. It is a powerful strategic tool that directly influences how a reader perceives, processes, and engages with your content. Effective formatting, in contrast, creates a clear visual hierarchy. It uses elements like headings, bullet points, and whitespace to break information into manageable chunks. Headings create a distinct visual hierarchy that mirrors the logical macrostructure of your writing. Chunking is the practice of breaking down long paragraphs or complex ideas into smaller, more easily digestible pieces, most often using bulleted or numbered lists. Bolding key terms, dates, or action items creates visual anchors that draw attention during a quick scan. Whitespace or negative space refers to the empty areas of a page. It is not wasted space. It is an active and essential design element that plays a crucial role in readability. Alongside whitespace, visual consistency is the hallmark of a polished and professional document. By mastering the use of whitespace and maintaining rigorous consistency, you create a document that is not only easy to read but also projects an image of competence, credibility, and meticulous attention to detail. The modern manager possesses a diverse and ever-expanding toolkit of written communication methods. The ability to select the appropriate tool for a given situation is a crucial strategic skill. At the formal end, we have documents like comprehensive reports, official proposals, and policy manuals. In the middle of the spectrum lie emails and memos, the workhorses of daily business communication. At the informal end, we find instant messaging and collaborative platforms, which facilitate rapid, real-time dialogue and quick collaboration. Effective writing is not a product of sudden inspiration or innate talent. It's really the outcome of a structured, multi-stage and disciplined process. The planning stage is all about strategic thinking before you write a single sentence. The drafting stage is about getting your ideas down on paper in a rough form without worrying about perfection. The revision stage is about shaping and structuring that rough draft into a coherent and persuasive argument. Finally, the polishing stage is about catching the small errors in grammar, spelling, and formatting that can undermine your professionalism. A powerful revision technique is to read the document aloud. The ear will often catch awkward phrasing, grammatical errors, and logical gaps that the eye misses. While English is a primary language of business and education across India, the rich diversity of regional languages often influences the way it is written. Phrases like "discuss about the project" are common but incorrect. In English, the verb discuss is transitive and does not require a preposition. A classic example is the phrase, "What is your good name?" The standard and direct English equivalent is simply, "What is your name?" One frequent issue is the overuse of the exclamation mark. Excessive use can make the writing appear unprofessional, overly emotional, or even juvenile. The ability to write effectively is not merely a technical skill for administrative tasks. It is a fundamental and non-negotiable competency for modern leadership. Today, leaders must influence stakeholders across continents and time zones, many of whom they may never meet in person. In this context, the written word becomes the primary vehicle for their vision and authority. Clear writing is a proxy for clear thinking, and leaders who can express complex ideas with elegant simplicity are perceived as more competent, strategic, and trustworthy. We conclude where we began, with the idea of written communication as the permanent memory of the enterprise. Your writing is not an ephemeral act. It is your professional legacy, captured in digital ink and preserved in the corporate archive for years to come. The project debrief you document next week could provide the critical lesson that prevents a future team from repeating a costly mistake. The pen, or the keyboard, is one of the most powerful instruments of leadership you will ever wield.